How's it going, Starseekers? My name's Gotcake, and in this review we're going to be taking a look at a game called Polandball, Can into Space. Now I don't know what type of game you'd call this, maybe an arcade, but there's no scoring system, maybe a simulation, but you're not really simulating anything that exists in any sane world. Basically you're a Polish ball who jumps into a rocket made of a coffee maker, soup pan and funnel, and attempts to reach the moon. Make sense? Didn't think so. The game's theme is based around a popular internet meme that I wasn't actually aware of, where balls are coloured with different countries' flags and have faces drawn on them. So we start the game at the main menu. Here we see our makeshift rocket sat on the launch platform. Taking a look at the settings, we've got audio settings and can toggle radar on and off. And trust me, this should be left on. Selecting new game at the main menu resets all your data, which we don't really need to do right now. So in the top right corner we can see the attributes of our current rocket, and in the bottom right we can see our current coinage and the furthest distance we've flown on our way to the moon, which sits at a distance of 384,400 kilometers away. So we can see we have two different upgrade menus. We have Rocket Perks and Rocket Parts. Taking a look first at Rocket Perks, when you select any of the perks it opens the same menu with the same buttons. Within the perks menu we can spend coins to upgrade our different attributes by a certain percentage. We can also increase the percentage of coins that are acquired each time we collect some in game. So taking a look now at the Rocket Parts menu, it's pretty much the same story here. Each time you select a part it opens up a new menu, all of which are called engine as it appears to be a bug. And we can spend our coins to buy better rocket parts which upgrade our attributes, but these also increase our rocket's weight. Each new rocket part we buy unlocks the next one in its category, which costs more to buy than the previous part. So once we're done spending what little gold we began with, we can select liftoff and begin our first attempt at reaching the moon. As we set off, we get a brief tutorial telling us that we turn by pressing left and right on the left analog stick, brake by pressing ZL, and boost by pressing ZR, which also uses more fuel. In the top right we've got two coloured bars. The orange is our health and the green is our fuel, which will slowly drain as we travel skyward. Below these is our current coin count and the distance we've flown so far in this launch. There's also a visual representation showing where your rocket is in relation to the moon down the right side of the screen. So as you fly upwards you'll need to keep collecting jerrycans to top up your fuel, and if you run out of fuel you'll explode. You'll also be assaulted by all manner of balls whose costumes and colours represent the different countries, and if your rocket is hit by one of these balls it'll take damage and you need to collect hamburgers to top up your health. If you take too much damage and your health is reduced to zero, again you'll explode. After you explode, you'll then be sent back to the main menu to give it another go. On your journey to the moon you'll also find coins and magnets to collect. The further you've flown, the more each coin is worth when you pick them up. And magnets attract nearby coins, burgers and fuel to you for a few seconds. So over in the top left corner is our radar. Now you might have noticed that the top and left sides of it are cut off, which is just ship placement. And despite you having a whole screen, this radar will be likely where the majority of your attention will be focused. The radar displays icons for collectibles if they're nearby, so a lot of your time will just be spent watching the radar and steering towards where they appear. Enemies also appear on the radar as red dots, and green dots indicate a friendly ball, which I think is the Netherlands, and touching these will give you a short speed boost. So the gameplay loop of Polandball goes like this. Launch your rocket and fly as far as you can whilst collecting fuels and burgers to keep you alive. Collect coins to be spent on upgrades and avoid as many hostile balls as you can. Eventually you'll explode if you don't reach the moon and return to the main menu. Spend your money on upgrading your perks and buying new ship parts and try again. And that's basically it. The upgrade system does have a little depth to it, but every upgrade is so expensive and the rate at which you gain coins in the game is slow, which makes any sort of progression slow. Even after a few upgrades, gameplay remains the same and there's very little reward for your efforts. The only thing that really changes in the game are the seasons and the weather. These range from clear summery skies to rainy autumn and snowy winter days. Now the location and appearance of collectibles and enemies is random. The further into the sky you get, the more hostile countries the game throws at you. Some of them are static, such as the giant Russia who has his own gravitational pull. Some you have to steer around as they float lazily across your path. And some fly straight at you and attack you with weapons such as Japan and Scotland. One thing that is a constant though is that annoying shit Romania who constantly appears chasing you down to suck your blood. You also hit checkpoints when you reach certain heights, but they don't seem to actually have any purpose. So when it comes to my gameplay experience with Polandball, I have to say that I got about as much as I expected from a mobile port of this calibre. Gameplay is shallow and it's basically another long repetitive grind for gold coins to buy overly expensive upgrades, and due to the random appearance of enemies, I often found that I'd be chugging along just fine, doing quite well, and then out of nowhere one would appear and smash me up in seconds and there was nothing I could do about it. The only thing I actually liked about the game was the unique visuals of the rocket parts and the various country balls. There were also a couple of speech bubbles containing stereotypical statements which made me smile a couple of times, but no doubt they were taken from existing memes. I personally feel that the game was okay as a simple mobile game to kill a few minutes every now and then, but it really should have stayed as just that. Instead, it's another game with very little to offer in terms of gameplay, which has found its way onto the Switch eShop. So now we come to rating the game. Now I rate games between 1 and 5 stars, with a shovelware stamp of approval reserved for the worst games on the eShop. This rating is based on my own personal opinion on what a game has to offer in terms of gameplay and value for money to potential buyers. And for a rating I'd give Polandball Can Into Space 1 out of 5 stars. And that rating is me being generous, as I think the game has some value as a time filler game, or as something with gameplay that's so simple that young children would enjoy playing it. Beyond that, it might appeal to hardcore fans of the memes, but I really wouldn't recommend it as a good game, and I advise waiting for a sale to buy it. You can get the game on the UK Switch eStore for £2.69, or from the US eStore for $2.99. Alternatively, the game's also available on Steam and the Google Play Store. And that's it for this review of Polandball Can Into Space. Hit that like button if it helped you out and let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. And as always, consider subscribing to the channel for future Switch indie game reviews. For now though, I just want to say thanks once again for watching, and until next time, game on.